My name is Elena. I am 26 years old. I work as a maid in a big house. The house is very large, with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. There is a garden, a swimming pool, and a tall gate. I clean the rooms, wash the clothes, and cook breakfast every morning. The house belongs to Mr. Lucas. He is a rich man. He owns a big company. He wears nice suits and drives a black car. He is 34 years old. He lives alone. He is quiet. He does not talk much, but he is not rude. He always says, "Good morning," and "Thank you." That is all. When I first started working there, I was nervous. I had never worked in such a big house before. My clothes were simple. My shoes were old. I came from a small town. I did not go to college. I needed this job. My mother was sick, and I had to send money home. Every day, I cleaned the kitchen and made his tea. Mr. Lucas liked his tea with no sugar. He liked eggs and toast in the morning. He always left for work at 8 a.m. He came home at 6 p.m. I made dinner and then cleaned the dishes. I stayed in a small room near the kitchen. It was quiet and simple. One evening it started to rain. There was thunder and strong wind. I was cleaning the floor when the lights went out. I froze. I was scared of the dark. I didn't know what to do. Then I heard his voice. "Elena, are you okay?" he asked. I said, "Yes, just surprised." He brought a candle to the kitchen. He stood next to me. I saw his face in the candlelight. He looked different. He looked kind. He said, "Sit down. I will bring tea." I was shocked. "Sir, I can do it," I said. But he smiled. "You are always working. You can rest tonight." He made tea and gave me a cup. I held it with both hands. It felt warm. I didn't speak much. I just said, "Thank you." He said, "You don't talk much. Why?" I looked down. "Because I am the maid," I said. He looked at me. His eyes were soft. "But you are also a person," he said. No one had ever said that to me before. I wanted to cry, but I held it in. That night we sat in silence. The candle burned between us. After that night, something changed. Mr. Lucas started talking more. He asked me questions. "Where are you from? Do you have siblings? What do you like to do?" I told him little things. I said I liked to paint. I said I used to draw flowers when I was a child. I told him about my mother and how she got sick. He listened. One day, he came home with a small gift. It was a sketchbook and some pencils. "I remembered you said you liked to draw," he said. I held the book in my hands. I didn't know what to say. "Thank you," I whispered. That night, I drew a rose. The next morning, I left the drawing on the kitchen table. When I came back, there was a note. "It's beautiful," he wrote. I started feeling something. I don't know what it was, but I began to smile more. I cleaned with music on. I painted in the evening. Sometimes he watched me from the doorway. I felt shy, but also warm inside. No one had looked at me like that before. One weekend he asked, "Do you want to come with me to the bookstore?" I looked surprised. "Me?" I asked. He smiled. "Yes, you." I wore my best dress. It was old, but clean. I brushed my hair and put on light lipstick. We walked together. People looked at us. A rich man and his maid. I felt small, but he walked next to me like I was someone important. In the bookstore, he asked me to pick any book I liked. I chose a small book about flowers. He paid for it and handed it to me with care. On the way home, he said, "You are not just a maid, Elena. You are kind. You are gentle. And you are strong." I didn't speak. I just looked out the window and smiled. But not everything was perfect. One morning, his aunt came to visit. She was tall, rich, and very cold. She looked at me and frowned. "Who is this?" she asked. "This is Elena. She works here," Lucas said. The woman looked at me from head to toe. "You let the help sit in the garden?" she asked. Lucas said, "Yes. She can sit where she wants." But I felt shame. I stood up and went inside. That evening, I cried in my room. I didn't belong in his world. Lucas knocked on my door. "Don't cry," he said. "She doesn't know you." I said, "She is right. I'm just the maid." He stepped inside. "Elena, listen to me. You are not just anything. You are more than this job. I see you." His words were soft but strong. I looked at him. "Why are you kind to me?" I asked. He smiled. "Because I like you." My heart stopped for a second. "But I'm no one," I said. He shook his head. "You are someone. You are the one I think about when I'm at work. You are the one I wait to see when I come home." I didn't know what to say. My hands were shaking. He touched my hand gently. "Let's take things slow. But please, don't say you are no one. You are everything to me." That night, I didn't sleep. My heart was full, but also scared. Could a maid fall in love with a rich man? Could he really love me back? Was this real? Or just a dream? Days passed. He treated me the same, with respect, with care. But now he also smiled more. He sat with me during tea. He looked at my drawings. He bought me new shoes. I felt like I was waking up from a long, cold winter. But deep inside, I knew something would go wrong. The world does not like stories like mine. A maid and a rich man. People talk. People judge. And soon, someone did more than just talk. Before I continue my story, I want to ask you something. Where are you listening from? Sometimes I wonder if someone out there really understands me. Just knowing you're here gives me strength. It happened on a Monday morning. I was cleaning the living room when the doorbell rang. I opened the door and saw a woman in a red dress. She had dark lipstick and long nails. She looked rich, proud, and angry. She walked past me into the house without asking. I did not stop her. I was confused and afraid. She sat on the sofa and looked around the room. She asked where Mr. Lucas was. I said he was not home. She said her name was Vanessa. She said she used to be his fiancée. I did not know her. Mr. Lucas never talked about her. Vanessa looked at me and laughed. Her eyes were cold. She said I was just the maid. She said I should remember my place. Her words hurt me. I stood still and did not speak. I wanted her to leave. I did not feel safe. When Mr. Lucas came home that evening, I told him about the woman. His face changed. He said she had no right to come. He said she was from the past. He told me he did not love her anymore. He said she left him once before and broke his heart. I listened but stayed quiet. Her words were still in my head. I started to feel small again. I started to feel like a problem. I thought maybe this was a mistake. Maybe people like him should not love people like me. After that day, I did not smile much. I still cleaned the house. I still cooked the food. But I did not sing while working. I did not draw anymore. I moved slowly. I was afraid of what would come next. One morning, I went to the market to buy bread and eggs. I heard people whisper. 2 women looked at me and pointed. One of them laughed. I did not stop to listen. I held the bag close and walked fast. I wanted to cry. I wanted to hide. I knew they were talking about me. I was in the newspaper that week. Someone took a photo of me and Mr. Lucas at the bookstore. The title said, "The Maid and the Millionaire." My face was small, but clear. People knew who I was now. At home, I sat in my room and closed the door. I looked at the floor. I felt cold and tired. I thought about leaving. I thought maybe it would be easier for him if I went away. I did not want to be a problem. That night, Mr. Lucas came to the kitchen. He asked why I was quiet. I said I was fine. He said he didn't believe me. I told him people were laughing. I told him they said I was nothing. He looked at me and said they were wrong. He said I was everything to him. But it was hard to believe. A few days later, he took me to the sea. It was a quiet place with soft sand and blue water. We walked near the waves. The sun was warm and the wind was light. I felt calm there. We did not talk for a while. Then he stopped and looked at me. He said he loved me. He said I made his house feel like home. He said he wanted to marry me. I did not move. My eyes filled with tears. I did not know what to say. I had never dreamed of this. I said yes, but my voice was soft. He smiled and held my hands. I looked at him and started to cry. I was happy and afraid at the same time. After that, everything changed again. We told some friends. He told his family. His aunt was not happy. She said I wanted his money. She said it was a shame. I was quiet. I did not want to fight. Mr. Lucas told her I was not after money. He said I was honest. He said he loved me. I did not cry that day, but my heart felt heavy. I wished people could see the truth. I wished they knew my heart. We had a small wedding. It was simple and sweet. I wore a plain white dress. He wore a blue suit. We said our vows in the garden. There were only a few guests. He looked at me the whole time. After the ceremony, we sat near the flowers. He held my hand and said we were starting a new life. I smiled and looked at him. I still felt like I was dreaming. Now, I was not the maid. I was the wife. But the world did not change with me. Some people still looked at me with sharp eyes. They still whispered. At a dinner party, one woman laughed and said, "So this is the maid who became the wife." I smiled, but inside I felt pain. After the party, I sat on the bed in silence. Mr. Lucas came in and asked what was wrong. I said nothing, but he knew. He said I should not listen to them. He said I had a kind heart. He said I made him happy. His words helped, but the pain stayed inside. A few weeks later, he got a job offer in another country. He asked me if I wanted to move with him. I said yes. I wanted to leave everything behind. I wanted a new start. In that place, no one would know I was once a maid. No one would laugh. No one would call me names. I could be myself. I could be his wife without shame. I packed my clothes and said goodbye to the house. It was the house where I was once the help. Now it was the house where I became someone's love. We flew away 2 weeks later. I looked out the window of the plane. The clouds were white and soft. I held his hand. I did not know what would happen next, but I was ready. I was not the same girl who started as the maid. I was stronger now. I had love, and I had a new life waiting for me. We moved to a new country. It was far from my old life. The city was quiet and clean. People walked slowly. The air was fresh. I did not know anyone there. That felt good. No one knew I was once a maid. No one stared. No one whispered. I was just his wife. We rented a small apartment near a park. It had white walls and big windows. There was a tree outside the bedroom. Every morning I watched the leaves move in the wind. I made tea and waited for Lucas to wake up. I liked the silence. It felt safe. Lucas started his new job. He was busy, but happy. I stayed home and cleaned. I cooked lunch. I took walks in the afternoon. I went to the market and spoke to people. My English was not perfect, but I tried. I smiled a lot. I wanted to be kind. Some days I missed my old life. Not the work, but the feeling of home. I missed my mother. I missed my little bed and my tiny room. I missed the sound of the broom on the kitchen floor. It was strange. I had more now. More money, more space, more freedom. But still, I missed something. One day, Lucas came home early. He brought paper and pencils. He said, "I saw these and thought of you." I smiled. I had not drawn in many months. That night, I sat at the table and drew a flower, then a small bird. My hands moved slowly, but my heart felt light. The next morning, I looked at my drawings. They were not perfect, but they felt true. I put one in a frame and placed it in the kitchen. Lucas saw it when he came home. He smiled and said, "You should do more of this." So I did. I started drawing every day. I drew trees, windows, bread on a table. I drew my mother's hands from memory. I drew the garden I once cleaned. I drew the small room where I used to sleep. I did not forget where I came from. I carried it inside me. Later, I found a small art class near our home. I joined quietly. The teacher was kind. She spoke slowly. The other women smiled at me. They asked where I was from. I said, "A small town. I used to work as a maid." They listened. One woman said, "That is honest work." I smiled. I felt seen. Weeks passed, then months. My drawings got better. My teacher said, "You have a soft eye. People feel something when they look at your pictures." That made me happy. I showed Lucas. He said, "I always knew you were special." One day, I made a big choice. I rented a small table at the weekend market. I put my best drawings in frames. I set them up early in the morning. I did not know if anyone would stop, but they did. A girl said, "I like this one. It feels quiet." She bought it. I smiled for hours after that. Each week, I sold more. I used the money to buy better pencils. I bought warm bread for dinner. I bought small gifts for Lucas. I didn't tell him where the money came from at first. Then one night, he saw the coins on the counter. I said, "People bought my drawings." He looked at me. Then he hugged me tight. That night we sat near the window. He said, "You are doing something you love. I am proud of you." I looked at the stars. I felt calm. I did not feel like a maid anymore. I did not feel like a stranger in his world. I felt like myself. One evening, Lucas came home late. He looked tired. I made soup. We sat on the sofa. He said, "Sometimes I feel like I don't do enough for you." I looked at him. I said, "You gave me peace. You gave me space. You gave me the chance to find who I am. That is more than enough." He smiled. He kissed my hand. We stayed there for a long time. No words. Just quiet love. That winter, my mother came to visit. It was her first time on a plane. She wore a simple coat and carried a small bag. When I saw her at the airport, I ran to her. She looked at me and cried. She said, "You look happy." I said, "I am." At home, I showed her my drawings. I showed her the market where I sold them. She was proud. She touched my cheek and said, "You have made a new life." We cooked together. We laughed. She told me stories I had forgotten. It felt like the world was whole again. Before she left, she said something I will never forget. She said, "You were never just a maid. You were always more. Now the world knows it too." After she flew back home, I sat by the window. I watched the wind move through the tree. I thought about the girl I used to be, the one who scrubbed floors and walked quietly through halls, the one who felt small. She is still with me, but now she stands tall. I was his maid. Now I am his wife. But more than that, I am me. If you liked my story, please like, comment, and share. More simple and emotional stories are coming soon.